unit number one. The unit number one is about the construction engineering system. So, in this unit, we will learn that what is the mm, preliminary or introduction of the construction project, what is its magnitude and critical consideration, what are the different principle, process and of management, how engineer become a manager when he is on the site or becomes a project manager. We will learn about the project cycle. We will also learn about the resources involved in a construction project. Afterward, we will see that what is the classification of the projects. Then we will also learn about the modeling of the construction project. Then we will also learn that how we can control the construction project using the bar chart, milestone chart, network diagram, and how we can quantify the resources which are involved in the construction. So these all subtopics are in the unit number one. After that, unit number two, that is based on the network technique and a line of balance method. So in this technique, in this unit, we will learn about the deterministic and probabilistic network. We will know about the CPM, PERT, PDM, GERT, critical path evaluation, cost planning, resource allocation through the network techniques, project monitoring and control, and line of a balance technique. So all these topics are covered in unit number 2. After that, there's the unit number 3. That this unit is for engineering economics, construction contracts, and delivery method. So in this unit, we will learn about the time value of money, present economy studies, equivalence concept, financing of the project, including the private public partnership, economic comparison, depreciation, break-even cost analysis, contract management, legal aspect of a contract, law related to the contract, land acquisition, labor safety and welfare, and also different type of a contract and managing contract and disputes. So these all are the contents of a unit number 3. After that, uh, unit number 4 is about the construction procedure. So in this unit, we will learn that what are the different steps which are involved in the construction of any uh, building. So these steps are related to the management. Uh, so we will learn about the tender, how the tenders are prepared, process of the tendering, pre-qualification of the contracts, evaluation of the tenders, contract negotiation, an award of work, monitoring of a contract, extra items, settlement of disputes, arbitration, and commissioning of a project. So these items we will see in unit number 4. After that, the unit number 5 is about the construction equipment and management. In this unit, we will see about the different type of construction equipment. For example, excavating, hauling, lifting, and concreting equipment, scrappers also. We will also know about the cost of owning and operating, economic of life of equipment, factor influencing performance of equipment, rolling resistance, coefficient of attraction, rim pull, drawbar pull, safety during the mechanized construction, and time motion studies. All these are in the unit number 5. After that, unit number 6. Unit number 6 is about the application of a optimization technique in a construction planning, management, and software application. So in this unit, we will learn about the application of a linear programming technique to construction project management, transportation and assignment models in construction management, decision making under the risk, decision tree concept, and also learn about the MS project and Primavera project planner. So this is about the unit number 6. Now, if you talk about the books which you can refer for the this subject, so for that there is a book Construction Project Planning and Scheduling from of Pearson by Charles Patrick. You can also refer the book Neeraj Construction Project Management Theory and Practice by the Neeraj Kumar Jha. This book is also available on Institute Library in e-resources. So there you can see this book, and also you can download. Along with that, several other books are also available, so you can refer. Uh, there is a book for construction equipment. You can refer the RL Purify, that is the equipment and methods, construction planning equipment and methods. So that is by the TMH International Book Company. So that book also available over the internet. You can download that, the soft copy of the book that is also available there. So these books you can refer for this subject, and along with that, if you, any other material is required, so that I will supply you after the completion of any particular unit. So this is all in this subject. Now we will start from the unit number 1. So for unit number 1, let me share some of my screen so that we can. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let us see about the introduction of this subject. So we know that construction industry plays a significant role in development of a national economy, and almost half of the total outlay in a 5-year plan is utilized for the construction activities, which constitute an integral part of all development project. And during the last 4 decades, the construction industry in India was undergone large scale mechanization with a rapid change and advancement in construction practices. So this construction industry involved in the construction of a several type of a civil engineering project. These projects are like this: canal and cross drainage work, dam work, tunnels, power project, road, earth moving, site leveling work, bridges, building and housing work, industrial structure, steel plant and railways, turnkey projects such as a chimney, cooling towers, or water treatment plants. So if we have to define the construction project, so we can say a construction project is a temporary work undertaken to provide a product or a service. So there are 3 words which draw our attention and need some explanation. The first word is the temporary. Temporary here signifies that every project has a defined beginning and the end. And the second word of a significance is the product. So it is the constructed facility such as a building or assembling of some infrastructure like a road, bridges, etc. And the third word service. Service in the context of a construction project signifies a design, planning, execution, and so on. So we know the construction is defined as a creation and renovation and repair. So we all know about this, that what is the construction and what or the other. So and management is the sort of administration whose function is to plan, organize, control, and coordinate the use of other source of to achieve the desirable goal. Thus, the management is the art of arranging various activities and a group of people to achieve a common goal. Now, if we have to classify the construction work, so construction work has the cost of construction, life requirement and the nature of a work, type of a structural member and equipment used. So cost of construction having the minor, medium and major work, life requirement and nature of work, permanent, semi-permanent and temporary work, type of structures, light, heavy and industrial construction. If you talk about the cost of the construction, so these classification we will see that. If you talk about the construction, that what are the unique feature of any construction project? So first unique feature is that it is a one-time activity. Okay, so it must be performed correctly the first time, every time. Every construction project is different from the other project in some way. So this is the one-time activity. Any construction project has the complexity. So construction project is a multidisciplinary because it involves a set of interrelated tasks to be done by the specialist. Proper coordination has to be maintained between them. Also, construction projects are high cost and time of execution. There is a high risk of failure and they are difficult in defining the quality standard, uniqueness of a people's relation, feedback mechanism, lack of experience of a client or a owner, and uncertain workforce in construction industries. So these are the feature of a construction project. So we are if we see the classification, so minor works, basically the definition of a minor work on the in case of the money is changing time to time. So we will not consider that this work will cost 20,000 or means this definition is changing time to time, but the basic classification in terms of cost, so minor, medium and major work. So you can refer the CPWD manual that will help you to categorize the minor, medium, and major work depending upon the cost. On depending upon the life requirement and nature of work, there is a permanent work, semi-permanent, and temporary work. So permanent nature along with the long period time, semi-permanent lifespan is small and can be dismantled, and temporary work, temporary nature using the cheaper material which can be dismantled after the use. Depending upon the type of the structural member and equipment, so there is a light construction. This type of construction included the light structure member, light foundation, not involving the heavy machinery like the warehouse, residential, school buildings, etc. Heavy constructions like railway, tunneling, major irrigation works, and industrial construction like a steel plant, atomic power plant, oil refineries, etc. Next, if you talk about the requirement of the construction industries, So resources provided as an input in a construction project, like human, material, equipment, funds. Through funds are capable to processing all these resources, but man, material, equipments are important resources. Technical and managerial skills are also sometimes considered as a resource. So if we see the resources like a human resource, so human resource generally in construction activities, human resource plays a very important role. Uh, if we try, we cannot replace the human resource from any machinery, because some of the minor of the work, human resources important. In human resource includes the skilled, semi-skilled, unskilled work, supervisory persons, both technical and non-technical, managerial persons, staff engaged for the operation and maintenance of equipment, machinery, talents, skill, experience, cooperation, and know-how to the human resource help in achieving the higher level of productivity. Availability, quality, and use of a human resources most important factor in achieving the objectives of a construction project. Also, uh, materials are required. So construction material, different construction material which are required for the construction project. Construction equipment resources, so machine and equipments are the important source of the organization. uh, you have you have no you know about the minor equipment which are used in the construction, but in this subject you will also learn about the major construction equipment which are used. Along with that, the most important thing, that is the capital resource. So capital resource is very important thing. Without the capital resource, any project cannot be started, and it is the first and the most important thing which is required to initiate or start any project. Now, if we talk about the characteristics of a construction management, so as we have discussed that project exists for a fixed time duration. Project cycle consists of a project preparation, means there are various phases in the construction project. Construction project generally employ the high value, uh, huge resource, material and machine. Construction projects, that civil engineering project requires crores of money to start and complete. Each project is a definite start and completion, so it's the time bound. Project team is constituted of a member belonging to the various disciplines. For the construction project, you required the electrical engineer, you required the mechanical engineer, you required the civil engineer, and if there is any electronics involved, so electronics engineer is also there. Each project comprises a series of immediate activities consuming source and a time. Every project has a many constraints in terms of availability of resource and completion of a time. Project work is normally uh, interested in to a project manager who coordinate the work of a various person working on the project. Now, if you talk about what is the importance of the construction project. So any project in general is bounded by the limitation of a defined scope of a work and a time of a completion, giving certain predetermined benefits to the user on completion of the project. Each activity of the project is allotted time, requires its completion, and resource like manpower, material, and know-how, etc. Some of the importance of the uh, management are: construction management provide the necessary leadership, motivate employee to complete the difficult task in a time, and exact potential talent to its employee, Construction management provides the importance of optimum utilization of resources. Construction management is beneficial as the effective and efficient management of construction project will avoid escalation of a cost, time overrun, wastage of resources, unlawful exploitation of labor, and pollution of a environment. If we After that, if we have to see that necessity, so necessity and importance basically the same things. So if there is a construction management is applied, so it will improve the quality and speed of the work by using the modern methods and techniques. uh, Construction management is will arrange and complete the work in a minimum possible time. It will also affect the economy in the cost of construction by adopting a new technique. And also construction management is very useful to check the wastage of the material and the labor. Now, if we have to know that what are the objectives of construction management. So there are these objectives. First is work to be uh, execute most economically. The work should be executed as per specification. Quality and workmanship of the work should be good. The work should be planned and organized properly. The work should be properly supervised by qualified and trained staff. The work should be completed within in the specified estimated cost and time. So these are the general objective of the construction management. Now, if we have to see the functions, so in a construction management, the functions like planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling, coordinating, and scheduling, these are the functions. So whenever any management is there, so the management will plan and organize, and accordingly they will staff, means they will hire the staff. There are directional staff is also there, and there is a controlling authorities and staff is there, and coordinating between the different uh, streams of the staff, and scheduling is also there using the various CPM method. Now we will see that the process. So we will start from the planning. So planning is a process of determining in advance that what is to be done and where and who, by whom. Defining the goal, establishing a strategy for achieving those goals, and developing a plan to integrate and coordinate activities. Top managers should define goals for the overall organization, and it requires decision making, that is choosing the future course of the action from among the alternatives. So what are the done in the planning? First, uh, that from where we can procure the material, proper design, employment of a trained and experienced staff on the project to provide welfare schemes to the staff and workers, such as the medical and recreational facility, proper selection of equipment and machinery to arrange the proper safety measures, such as proper ventilation, proper arrangement of a light and a water. Now, if we see the principles of the planning, so plans should be comprehensive, plans should be flexible, plans should be realistic. The plan should serve as a basis of a project monitoring and control. The plan provides the information in readily understandable form. So these are the principles of the planning. If we see that what are the different activities in the construction planning, so we can see, okay, we can see this chart. So in the construction planning, the three major parts: first is the job planning, second is the technical planning, and third is the pre-tender planning and a post-tender planning. if we see in the job planning, first one is the manner of execution of a job, that how any job will be performed, that how it can be executed. Second, that what will be the duration of that job, and what are the resources are that are required to complete the job. Then in technical planning, as a civil engineer, you have to know that what are the technical things uh, are there. So as a civil engineer, we are continuously learning about these technical planning. So in the technical planning, first is the preparation, detailed drawing and specification. So detailed drawing and specification, generally plan and elevations are prepared by the architectures, and the specifications are prepared by the civil engineers and structural engineer. Preparation of a detailed estimate, you have already gone through the subject estimation, costing and the valuation, so that is prepared by the civil engineer. Of finalizing method of execution of a work, so method of execution of work is also being chosen by the civil engineer. Planning resources, so in that is also under the resources, that what grade of the material uh, will be used, from where it is being collected, and how it will be supplied. So these all things comes under technical planning. Also checking of the stage of procuring the resources. So uh, handling the construction material is also an important task that is to be done. So that is being done in the checking at this stage. Also visualization and remedies of the obstacle. So in the technical planning stage, we have to visualize and prepare the remedies for those obstacles which are coming in the future course of action, whenever when we start the construction. So there will be certain difficulties that can come, so we have to visualize those obstacles and prepare its remedies. In the construction planning, the third portion, that is the pre tender and post tender planning. So in a pre tender planning, uh, tendering, we will also see in this subject, that is the in the pre tendering planning, there is a finalization and acquisition of a site, planning of the resources, time limit for each work. So that is done in the pre tendering planning. And the post tendering planning, there are certain work we will that is done. So here is the detail of that. So I have already explained that the job planning, technical planning, finalizing, planning resources. In pre-tendering planning, let us see that what is in the pre-tendering planning. So in the pre-tendering planning, the planning should required for the time of investing, inviting the tender up to the receipt of the same is termed as a pre-tender planning. It includes the finalization and acquisition of a site, uh, also planning of the resources and time limit for each of the work. So that is in the pre-tender planning. In the post-tender planning, after the acceptance of the tender, the contractor prepares after for the details planning. The post-tender planning for proper execution of work includes the arranging, repairing, maintenance of machinery and equipment, planning and arrangement of the transport of the labor. The work is divided into different units, and responsibilities of each work is fixed. The work diary is maintained to record every day of work done. The qualities of the material required at each stage is also need to be estimated, and availability of labor and material checked in advance for every stage of work. So after the post tendering process, basically during the execution of work, these are the plans which are required. Now let us see about what is organizing. So it is the process of determining that what tasks are to be done and what is to be do them, and how to the tasks to be grouped, and who report to whom, where the decision are to be made. And the purpose of organizing structure is to help create an environment for human performance. A large contracting firm have an elaborate organizing and tendering, planning, design, and procurement, etc. That is done in the headquarter. Staffing, I already told you, staffing is basically involved is filling and involves the keeping the position in the organizational structure. This is done by the identifying the workforce requirement. Directing, this is the function of management, involves, I already told you that how the direction will be done and the communication is done. We will also learn about the organizational structure, so that we will see in coming lectures. Controlling, it is the measure of correcting the individual and organizational performance to ensure that event conforms to plan. The manager is also responsible for ensuring that the organization get back on the track if the results are not as expected. Coordinating is it involves the bringing together and coordinating the work of various departments and sections. There are various department sections in the construction. Also, scheduling can be defined as the mechanical process of setting various planned activities in order by fixing starting and finishing date for each activity of work, so to execute the whole work in a systematic and orderly manner. If you talk about the various construction stages, so first is the initiation stage. So either due to the entrepreneurial effort of individual or the group, or to satisfy the need of the society, the initiation stage is started. After that, analysis and development of an idea. So whatever the idea forth in the initiation stage have to be further analyzed regarding the cost of the project, and the benefit will occur. The preliminary survey has to conduct and the cost estimate are to be prepared. Feasibility studies have to be carried out so that the project is economically viable. After that, design stage is there, so it is an important stage in the implementation of the project. And sincerity fields investigation and survey is conducted, then the design and drawing of the various elements of the projects are prepared. The final estimate is then prepared, and if necessary, efforts are to be initiated so that the required area of the land will be acquired. Then after that, awarding of the contract. So after that, notice inviting tender is brought, and tender documents are prepared, and the contract is awarded to the successful contractor. So we will also learn about the process uh, in the coming units. After that, the construction starts. So this is the post tender process. So in this phase, the project calls for the maximum coordination between the various agencies. Construction phase is this is the major phase which takes a lot of time, and which is the most important thing. After the putting the completed project into use and keeping up the continue maintenance. So once the project is completed, so that is handover to the concerned authorities and the parties, and after that, uh, continuous maintenance is also there. Okay, now we talk about the what are the participants. So just sometimes uh, these participants are also known as the stakeholders. So sometimes it is in the examination it is asked that write down about the stakeholders of the construction project. So that the answer will be the same. Okay. So civil engineering projects are starts with an idea, requirement to fulfill the demand or will provide the basic elements to the citizens of the state. Project ends with the infrastructure of the facilities, recreational amenities, industrial plant in operation as a reality. The construction team comprises of various members, first like a owner, then engineers and the contractors. So these are the basic classifications. but there is a subcategories in the engineer and the contractor, so that we will see. So first one is the architecture. So architectures, you know the what architectures do. They are responsible for pre-project and post-project phase, and they were acting as the client on a client behalf. In a pre-project phase, they are responsible for preparation of a drawing, preparation of a tender document, contract selection. Architect gives a first conceptual estimate, data preliminary design, later a semi-detailed design, and then final detailed drawings and specification. After that, a second stakeholder is the owner. So the client is often the person or the organization that will manage the facilities or structure. Upon completion of the project, the client is in a position to judge the usage of the fund to execute the project, and they are at his discretion. Then third stakeholders are the contractors. So contractors signs a contract with the owner, accepting the responsibility to complete the project according to the plan and specification with the specified time and for agreed price. Contractor coordinates the work of subcontractors, suppliers, and craftsmen. Contractor organizes the manpower, material, equipment, etc. to implement the project. After that, engineers are also there. So that is us. In what is our role? So engineer works with the client to conclude the contract. He provides the technical services on the behalf of the client, uh, design alterations, cost and schedule changes for unavoidable as a construction project procedures. Also, there are subcontractor, vendor, and suppliers. So the general contractor may subcontract an entire work or part of the work, or none. It depends on the nature of the project and the contractor organizational setup. Usually, the general contractor keep himself the basic operation and use specificity subcontractor for other items. Subcontractor signs an agreement with the general contractor to perform specific portion of the project for an agreed price. Subcontractor carries out the specialized work like the masonry, carpentry, electrical work, and plumbing. So basically, in construction project, there are three stakeholders. First is the owner. In the second one, there is a engineer, architecture, consultant. The all comes in the second, and the third are the contractor and subcontractor, material supplier. These are the third stakeholders. So these are the three basic stakeholders. Now, if we talk about the organization, so an organization can be defined as a group of a person united to achieve a common goal and defining the responsibility and establishing the relationship which with each other employed in the organization. So if there are the certain principles of the organization, so let us see those responsibilities. Those principles. First is the responsibility. So authority should be equal to responsibility. Each manager should have enough authority to accomplish the task. Specialization. So effective organization must include the specialization, uh, precise division of a work facility, specialization. There is in the organization the personal ability. The organization structure may be encourage management development program to ensure the optimum use of a human resource. Uh, there must be a flexibility in the organization, so it should be the organization should be adaptable to changing circumstances. It should not be rigid or inelastic. Also, the objective must be very clear for any organization. uh, there must be clear unbroken line of authority. The line of authority flows from highest executive to lowest managerial level, and the chain of the command should not be broken. There must be a proper good communication in the organization for the proper flow of the information. There may be span of the control, so though no superior at a higher and level should have more than 6 immediate subordinate. Average human brain can effectively direct 3 to 6 brain or subordinate. Grouping must ensure that each supervisor and manager is not overburdened. Responsibility authority should be equal to responsibility. Each manager should have enough authority to accomplish the task. And coordination. Organization involves the division of work among the people. Effort must be coordinated to achieve common goals. Coordination is orderly arranged to of group effort to provide the utility provide the unity of action in pursuit of a common purpose. So these are the principles of the organization that must be know. Then after that, the characteristics of the organization. So there are characteristics also matched with the uh, properties of the organization, like it should be have a common goal. It should clearly fix the activities and responsibilities for everyone in the organization, and it should have a set structure. There should be a good coordination between different department and organization. In different department there should be a set of the personals. Now after that, there's a types of organization, so that we will see in the next coming lecture. That is now that is all for today. If you have any question, you can ask the question.